All right. Good morning, everybody. My name is Liz Garcia. I am founder of the Mind, Body, Spirit Network. And today we have a special guest in our High Vibe tribe. I like to call our tribe the High Vibe tribe. Her name is Macy Matarazzo, and Macy is all about the love, which is appropriate this time of the year because the holidays are all about the love as well. So I'm just going to give a quickie on Macy. A quick bio on Macy. She is the founder of the Love Advantage and Love Vibe TV and author of the upcoming book, Crafty Love, The Playful Path to Soulmate Love. A first-time bride at 43 with over 25 years collecting failed relationships, devastating heartbreaks, and dateless holiday parties before she finally found the formula which broke the painful cycle. She now devotes her life to helping other career women stop the madness and create the kind of love she never thought could exist. She brings her clients a magical combination of transformational change methodology, intuitive guidance, Kundalini yoga, and creative exploration to offer relationship counseling and dating advice for women over 40 who want love. Get there. She's been using these tools for over 25 years and found a powerful yet fun way for women to attract extraordinary loves in their lives. All right. So Macy, and you can tell Macy's all about the fun, let me tell you. I am going to give you the spotlight. Have at it, my dear.
Okay, welcome everyone. So how many of you find that love can be a scary topic? Just raise your hand or wave in the screen. How many of you love being loved? Yeah. How many of you just want to be you?
Yes.
Yeah. I'm using my Just Be You mug today, by the way. Yeah. So imagine being with the one who loves you no matter what, like whether you've put on a couple pounds or you're feeling kind of grouchy or bitchy, or, you know, you wake up looking like Chewbacca or something. I don't know. But being with the one who totally gets you. And would you agree that life has its ups and downs? And what would it be like to be with that person who, no matter what the universe throws your way, is saying, hey, we've got this? How many of you would like that kind of relationship? Yeah. And if you already have someone and it doesn't look like that, that's what I want to share with you today, is how you can have love or more of what you want. So the other thing I like to mention is that I believe in all kinds of relationships. So these principles work for everyone. So for simplicity, I often say guy, but I really want people to adjust as they like, because this is all about love. So I just wanted to share my story, if that's okay. And so for me, and maybe many of you too, I found myself climbing the corporate ladder. And the first job I had was behind the HR desk in this company. And so I was seeing the salaries and job titles of everyone in the company. And then one day someone came up who had one of those jobs, and I thought, I could totally do that. And so I started saying yes to stuff. I would say, yeah, I can do that. And next thing you know, I had a 6-figure job and a couple houses and, you know, really great things in my life. But there was one thing missing, and that was having that meaningful relationship. And so what I sort of naturally started doing was what I did in corporate world. I just sort of figured out what they wanted, and I said I could do that. And then in my love life, I was modeling that. I was saying, okay, wait a minute. What does a man want? I'll do that. I'll be that. So I tried all these things. So I tried like sophisticated. I tried perky. I tried slutty. I hate to admit. I tried, mysterious. And it actually kind of worked. I mean, I did meet a lot of people, but they were never my person. And then there was one time right before my 40th birthday, I met a guy who I thought, oh, wow, this guy is perfect. He was funny. He had a great job. He was crazy handsome, and he liked me. And it just happened to be a time when my parents were coming to visit me in Denver. And I thought, oh my God, this is so great, because now my mom's not going to worry about me, because she worried about me. I mean, she still worries about me, and I'm 49. But she was so worried about me living alone in my little house. And so I thought, this is going to solve that. And so they met him. We went out for coffee. And then my parents and I went back to my little bungalow by ourselves. And they sat me down and looked directly into my eyes and said, Macy, if you think you're going to keep a man like that, you're going to have to stop being so weird. It was like the most devastating thing I've ever heard from my parents. I mean, it still actually makes me want to cry hearing, when I say it, because I never, they've always been supportive of me. They've always said, do what you love. Like, they always encouraged my creativity, and they encouraged me. And it just was so mind blowing that all of a sudden now they're telling me I'm too weird for love. And it kind of devastated our relationship for a while. And you know what? They were right. He broke up with me like 2 weeks later. And then it occurred to me that while I was pretending in my corporate life, I was also pretending in my love life. And so at that point, I had a realization that I either was going to settle for being single and being really happy, just doing my thing, hunker down, adopt 15 cats, make it okay. Or I was going to figure out how to find love by being 100% concentrated me. And I chose love. So that's when I made the decision to do whatever it took to break the cycle. And I did. And before long, I met my adorable little husband. He's a Jewish chiropractor. What I haven't mentioned is I also really like Chihuahuas. So I affectionately call him my teacup Jew, because he's just this adorable little man. But anyway, so when we really have created a life where we are mutually uplifting, supportive, creative, and loving together. And this is what has inspired my mission. So how many of you would like to experience that kind of relationship? I mean, or create more of that in your life? So that's what I want to share with you. So I wanted to share with you, because there's, of course, there's a whole bunch of things, but today I picked out 3 things that I feel like are sort of the energetic steps that are critical that you can do right now. And whether you're in relationship or not, It's all about love, like Liz said. So the first one, I believe, is essential in terms of you have to be willing to make love a priority in your life. It's a decision. So oftentimes I hear people saying, oh, well, I'll wait until I lose 20 pounds, or I wait until I get this job, or I wait until almost like it's a linear thing, like you can only do one thing at a time. Well, your life is love. It's the foundation of all things. So you can do it all together. So it's not separate. And what we know, I love this Harvard study, which probably many of you guys have heard because it's a spiritual community, but Harvard did a 75-year study on what makes life most fulfilling. Have any of you heard this study? Okay. And what they discovered is that love is all that matters. They said relationship is all that matters. 75 years they studied this. And it's not wealth. It's not fame. It's not those things that we may think people are focusing on. So you have to commit to this and make yourself sort of available to it by doing that. And so one of the things I like to teach, because I find that what keeps us from even making it a priority is thinking that we deserve it or that we're worthy of it. So I've created a worthiness pledge. So I think it would be fun to do that together. And our worthiness comes from just existing. That's it. It's not from things that we're doing. So this is a reminder of that, and it touches us at a more cellular level. So putting one hand in a W, I like to put my right hand up in a W, standing for worthiness, W in sign language. And then bringing that to your heart. And this gesture is about remembering that you are worthy because you exist. Your body's here. And then embracing that. And then just using this mantra, I am worthy of love. I choose love now, now, now. And so together we'll just do really mini version, which one out loud, one in a whisper, one silent in your head, back to a whisper and back to out loud. So let's do it together. So closing your eyes. I am worthy of love. I choose love.
I choose love.
Now, now,
Now.
now. Silently. In a whisper, I am worthy of love. I choose love now, now, now. And out loud, I am worthy of love. I choose love now, now, now. And just taking a moment to feel it. Take a couple breaths and just knowing that your breaths throughout the day will continue to lock in this deeper sense of worthiness within you. And then coming back. So just a quick experience of that. And then that's something that you can do whenever you want. It's really powerful in that even the voices have a power to them. The loud voices, like we're declaring it to the whole world, the universe. The whisper is that voice of connecting to the beloved. And then the silent is the voice that's talking to your soul. So the second piece is, and this applies to anything in life, even if you have a relationship, creating the best possible vision for yourself. And this is really different than just creating a vision, because we have to be able to move beyond the limitations that we create from our mind. So it's not what you think you can have or what you think is available. This is coming from a place of the heart. So moving out of the head, down to the heart, what is it ultimately that you want? And doing kind of a quality check on that. I had a client who, believed that what she actually wanted didn't exist. So how did that affect her? She just allowed whoever showed up to be her person. So if someone liked her, she would go out with them. She would just let it happen without feeling like she had the power to say no or to wait or be patient for something else because she didn't believe it existed. And when we started looking at her life, we calculated that she probably lost 20 years to kind of leaving it to default in a way. And after working together, she had the conviction and the vision that helped propel her forward. And before long, she met someone who really did surprise her and is a really great match for her. And so now they're together. So what I recommend with this, and this is such a beautiful time of year to do this because I know a lot of us like to do vision boards, is to look at that. What are you putting down on that vision board, or what is it that you want to call in? Do a quality check. Ask, is this coming from love or is this coming from fear? Because the fearful things are the things that we're saying, I probably can't have, even a Mercedes. Like, I don't know how that would happen. And we're getting wrapped up in that part. Just really going from your heart. This is what I truly want. I certainly didn't think that a man existed that would match me. I'm really quirky and creative, and yet I want to have a successful life and be financially stable, and I like crazy animals and really weird decor. I mean, I really didn't think any would match that, and I was wrong. So it's also kind of a nice thing to be willing to be wrong. So quality checks is the second piece. So that's something that's more like a homework piece for you guys to take away. And then the third one is living your life in love now. My mantra for my business is how you love your life is your love life. And so choosing those thoughts, people, activities that feel loving. And this is Liz. Liz is teaching us this, like all the ways that, we tune into those higher vibe things is really important. Those are choices that we're making all the time. And really understanding that, the desire that's coming through us for what we want and what feels good is bigger than us. And that trusting that, whatever we truly want has the ability to manifest, or we wouldn't have that kind of insight or inspiration coming through us. I had one woman come to me who was in a relationship, and she was so terrified to rock the boat. She didn't want to, she was like, I love him so much. But then as she described it, to me, it didn't sound like love. Like she was too scared to say express her needs. Her needs weren't getting met. She was afraid that if she said anything, he would leave her. And so we did start working together. And what happened was after she started developing her confidence and her clarity around herself, that she came to the point where she could make a decision for herself that said, you know what, this isn't working for me. And she was able to gracefully move out of that relationship. So I like to help people connect to love. And so if you're open to it, I think it'd be nice to do a mini little experiential exercise to do that. Are you open to it? Just go, Okay. Okay. So just getting comfortable in your seat. This is really simple, but I feel like it's a very helpful thing. And just finding your heartbeat. So either your pulse at the bottom of your thumb. My husband taught me that, like just following your thumb down and just gently putting your fingers there, or finding your pulse on your neck, or just putting your hands on your heartbeat, feeling your heartbeat and breathing. And take a minute to tune into something that conjures up that feeling of love for you. And it can be anything. It can be the excitement of Christmas. It can be looking into your dog's eyes. It can be someone that you just cherish that makes you so happy, and just finding that sensation of love. And as you breathe and notice your heartbeat, recognizing that your heartbeat is always sending out those pulsations. I like to call this our love laser beam. It's like whatever we're really tuning into, our heart is even sending it out even further. And in this circle of spiritual community, high vibe tribe right now, whether you're live or watching a replay, like just noticing that your ripple of your heartbeat filled with your love is intersecting with all other beings. And just recognizing that impact and noticing that if you, no matter what your relationship status is right now, that you're connecting with your beloved wherever that person is. And if you haven't met that person yet, you're connecting with them right now. So you're connecting with all living beings right now. The ones you love, and even the ones that drive you crazy. People you know, people you don't know. But just feeling and seeing your love laser beams connecting with all. And then just taking a couple more breaths and coming back into the room. And the other thing that I like to be conscious of is that works when we are getting stuck in fear. So, noticing that when we are really believing the hype and the fear, and we're getting wrapped up, and not to beat ourselves up over those moments, but just recognizing that we can send out fear too. So, and that is, I'm saying that not to create more fear. I'm saying that from the perspective that for me, it helps me to commit to my practice even more. Like, how can I be love in the world? And when we're feeling love, we really help other people. And like, Liz has been teaching us with the David Hawkins work, our frequency really matters. So feeling love now and choosing love is the third teaching. So doesn't that feel good to have love laser beams? Ooh. I would like to have them actually show up as some of the crazy Christmas lights we're seeing right now. So, what keeps us from a lot of these things is our emotional quicksand, really. I call it that, or getting caught up on the emotional roller coaster. And I find that, you know, one of the things that when women come to me, there's often some patterns of getting on the emotional roller coaster, and we don't necessarily notice that we're doing that all the time. So what I see is that our relationship success is really dependent on that emotional well-being, and how we are conscious of, you know, moving into the voices that can take over sometimes. So there's those, some people call them the inner critics, but I like to call them the inner critics. I also call them the inner love gurus, because I feel like all of the inner critics also have a polarity. So, you know, you can be in sort of a hopeless feeling, but the counter to that is kind of creative solution. So there's a balance for all of them. You can be the people pleaser or get stuck in that, or the other side is having healthy boundaries and being a master of your self-care. Another one is feeling stuck in resentment and being bitter. And then the counter to that one is, oh goodness, don't let me forget. Forgiveness and self knowledge, or more self-forgiveness. So there's really a balance to all of it. And so that's what I find to be really helpful, is really understanding that. Because even when we get in relationship and we're like, oh, I found this, it can be really one of those things that different things start triggering us. So I call that kind of standing into our kind of grown-up kind of love, that we're not responding from, you know, whatever we created in our childhood, or however we were wired in our relationship stuff early on, or whatever relationships have kind of molded us along the way. It's like, how do we stand in that kind of grown-up kind of love? So if you desire this in your life, I am happy to support you. And, you know, for anyone who is interested in taking a look at that, creating what I call happy, healthy love, I have openings to offer time to just sit down and look at that. Like, what's happening for you? What do you ultimately want to create, and how you can get there? So just reach out to me and let me know. I can add a link or share my email, whatever works. But what I really want to leave you with is this one quote, which is, how you love your life is your love life. And that's my mission statement. And I feel like that is true for everything and anything. How you love your life is your love life. So thanks for letting me share, and I'll take any questions.
Okay, let me unmute everyone. Thank you, Macy. You are love personified, my dear. Hold on, let me unmute everyone and let me get everyone here. Okay. Anyone have questions for Macy or anything you want to share? That heart thing was yummy. Like, I really started to feel, you know, we were holding our hands to our heart. Mm-hmm. That was super powerful. I'm like, whoa, feel that. Mm-hmm. Love that. And, you know, my sister is, she and I, we do a lot of work together, inner work together. And she always uses the question, what would love do? Mm-hmm. And it's such a powerful thing that I totally I'm using that for everything. It's like, I want love in my life. What would love do with me? Right? Yeah. I love that.
Yeah. So another question that I think is good or along that line is, what would I love? You know, because I think oftentimes we are neglecting ourselves or denying ourselves love, or what, you know, even denying ourselves relationship. I meet so many women who are kind of denying themselves that because they put work or everything else in front of them. Yeah. So what would I love? What would I love?
Yeah. I love the vision board idea. I started a vision board 2 days ago on that topic. And all my vision boards are typically, you know, business, my design work, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, okay, no more of that. I'm doing one just on relationship with a beauty pie. Right? And there's no limits to my beauty pie. I did not put limits on him. And it's hard to find, you know, images of men in magazines that really work for me, because a lot of them are like ripped up, you know, supermodels that are young. I'm like, not so much. So there are some celebrities that kind of have qualities about them that I really love. So I cut them out. I'm like, you know, I don't have to be with them, but I like the qualities of them. And I cut them out. It's like, you know, what is it about them? One of them, I really love and admire him, but he's an alcoholic. So I'm like, you know what? Not the alcoholism, thank you, but other things about him. Creative, you know, passionate, gifted. I love that vision board idea. And then kind of have you done a love vision board before, Macy, with people?
I do. I actually do that with them in my program. And I did it for me. And I think the most important thing is that it's whatever emotion is triggered by what you pick. So, you know, really noticing, you know, because the emotion is going to really help the magnetization part. And whatever, you know, when you're looking at it, it's the thoughts and the emotion together that these images create within us that really help.
So do you kind of ask people to look at the vision board and see if it's really something else that they're not aware of unconsciously that they're asking for too? Are you following me on that one? Like, you know, I cut out a couple of famous people, but maybe I should go look at it and say, maybe there's underlying unconscious garbage there. I don't know. Possibly. What do you think, Deborah?
Well, I mean, I have the same experience. I do vision boards and I teach vision boarding classes. And I have actually right now 2 different vision boards. One is for my personal life and one is for my business. And all of this stuff on my personal life is like, oh, that happened, that happened, that happened. But all the love stuff in this corner, not happening. And so I'm wondering what's different about the energy that I'm putting in the universe while I'm doing the vision board that allows this to manifest, but not this. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think that it's just got to feel really good when you're looking at it. And if you're seeing that, then maybe it is worth looking at what, you know, other blocks may be working against you, you know, and that is something we could do in a happy and love strategy session if you wanted to do that.
What's it called? Happy and love strategy session?
I like that.
Yeah, because I feel like, I mean, I work really intuitively too. So sometimes I can just tell what's happening, you know, just listening to you for a bit. But I mean, the theory around the vision board stuff, and I'm not an expert. You, Deborah, you probably know a lot more about it. But as far as the neuroscience piece is that, you know, you're having that emotional, the thoughts are being generated. Do you know, Cheryl?
I love the vision board, and Deborah, I'm so happy that you're making 2 vision boards. And the thing about the love relationship corner, what I was picking up is either to reduce it to just maybe one picture, you know, maybe baby steps, you know, try to approach it and maybe the vision board has a gradual incline to the meeting the mate. So maybe fill some more pictures or something in the middle, but it feels like that love corner for you is quite big and there's so much love there and emotion. I would want to see baby steps or building up to that. That would be my suggestion, if that helps.
Yes, it does. Thank you.
And the other thing that came to mind and this is what I do tell my clients, is that this is what your life in love will be like. So it's not just about the person, it's about like, how will you be when you're living your life in love, which should be everything and current. Like ultimately we want to just be in love right now. And so the images want to generate love. Like, for example, I do this thing called Church of Kitschy Love, in one of the sermons I did the other day was around the science of cuteness. And so just looking at something cute generates, I think he's cute, generates that, oh, that's actually love. Like, so you're actually having a response within your body, and they really prove that, there's chemical responses. So not only like, is it comforting, so use whatever you can that generates love. You could have a whole vision board of kittens and probably call in your partner. If you think that's cute.
I agree. That's awesome. So I want to just mention what Macy helped me the other day. I'm finally opening up to being social, and I've moved to a different part of Colorado almost 2 years ago now. And Macy and I had a nice little happy hour at a bar in Boulder. And this is like the first social thing I've done with I haven't done too many. So this is one of the first. And we had the best time. I had a great time with Macy. But I'm like, I'm going to use her today. She's the love coach. And I've been single for 15 years. I was married for 16, and I've been single now going on 15, which is nutty, but it's all good. So I told her that I was going to it's a meetup group for people in their 40s and 50s. It's called the Gray Wolves. I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to go. And the Christmas party was thrown by an Italian from Rome.
Ooh.
And, totally. And he was cooking, all right? He was cooking the meal. He's a personal chef. And he was putting on, he got it in this Grange Hall in Longmont, which turned out to be a very cool place, built in the 1800s. Looked like a big old schoolhouse. And he had the best tunes to dance to, and I love dancing. And I said to Macy, I told her that I hadn't been with anyone for a long time. And she told me she was intuitive. I'm like, I know, I'm going to use you today. Show me your stuff, honey. And she totally gave me some great advice. She's like, you don't have to be funny. You don't have to try. I want you to just go and be present. That's it. And I did that. And I had a great time. There were 45 people there. 2 adorable Italians with the language, the culture, everything. And there were a lot of men there too. And everyone was single, but it was very organic and beautiful because we're all older and mature, and we've been to have life lessons, and it's not goofy, creepy or matchy or anything like that whatsoever. And there were 3 long farm tables, like 15 people at each one. And I wasn't there. I realized it was a step to be in a place where it was safe. It was a safety thing. And maybe, Deborah, this is something that, if you've been single a long time, take a step where it's just safe and you're not trying. And it was so much fun. I danced the whole night. I danced with probably 3 or 4 men. I can't tell you how awesome it felt to have a man's hand in mine. It felt awesome. I'm like, this is fantastic. And the Italian was a little sweet on me. He gave me a big hug, and I'm like, oh my God, you are a sexy dancer too, sexy clothes, everything about him. Like, sign me up. So anyway, just a little advice, like, put yourself out there and do it simply. Like, I'm not going to try. I'm just going to go be there. Thank you for that advice, Macy. It was helpful. And
good.
There was a big shift happened, and the shift was so significant. I was telling Cheryl that it scared my dogs, actually. Something happened to me, and my sister was like, you came back down to earth. And the dogs weren't used to that presence. So They were a little off, but they're good now. So anyway, I think, you know, if there's a wall up, which there has been for me and maybe for others, you know, you feel this wall, energetic. You got to like break it down. Like, I'm a big fan of Fixer Upper. I'm like, go get a sledgehammer. Let's break this wall down. Maybe that's a little too abrupt, but I love the kitten idea. I latched on to, you know, understanding the power of love in the heart. And I knew that I needed to start loving something. So I started with something that was easy, like kids, babies. They're just like as loving as kittens. Start where it's easy, right?
Exactly. I mean, we can borrow. I mean, I think the most important thing is just to get into that, like that really juicy, like feeling of love. And, you know, really part of my kind of breakthrough personally in what I offer my clients is that experience over and over again, which then at some level is creating that security within us. You know, we're connecting into love. And that's funny, Mary. Juicy is much better than high and dry. Yes, I agree. And my necklace is falling off. But yeah, really feeling that sensation and bringing it in. The other thing that I didn't do in this, because we did love laser beams, but is this sense of holding hands. Like you said, Liz, it felt so good to hold a man's hand. You can do that at any time. Like, just call in your beloved, hold his hands. I held Larry's hands for, you know, months before I met him. So I just was like feeling that. And, you know, you can do that even in circles, like the circles that I hold online. I have people hold hands, and it's like immediately we feel each other. And it's just a really powerful thing to create that connection and security.
My heart is spinning right now with that suggestion. I can feel it. Imagine.
I just do it and I just immediately, my body changes. And so I have my clients holding their beloved's hands a lot. And, you know, there's plenty of people who say, oh, imagine being with your beloved. But if you're not holding his hands, you're not going to feel it as much.
I love that. That's worth its weight in gold right there. I feel it.
It is. I feel like that's my secret formula in so many ways. Besides the fact that I can really help people kind of get through their emotional blocks with the tools that I use, and also just, you know, intuitive stuff.
So what do you think, what's the common thread of problems with people that are not connecting with their ideal love? Is there a common thread, or is it a mixed bag?
I think a big part is worthiness, like not feeling worthy. And, you know, for me, honestly, it's a continuous practice around that. And I know that it's not one of those things that's evident right away either. Like, I feel like most of us, we're on the path, we're doing our work, and we would say, of course I'm worthy, but there's a deeper level of that.
Yeah.
So that's a biggie. And frankly, you know, I spend a lot of time with my clients on the sort of preparation, like releasing the layers that are keeping them from really showing up. And so that's a big part of my work. I'm not really like starting with being a dating coach, although I coach people on dating. And I'm certainly not a matchmaker. I mean, I believe this is really a spiritual path. And that's, you know, I say, oh, it's unicorn love, and that sounds really kitschy, but I actually kind of mean it, because it's beyond just like getting a date. Any woman can have a couple margs and get a date. This is really about, you know, really getting to know the beloved within you, calling in a special relationship, and being able to be with yourself during that time in a place of love. in between.
Yeah. Sujatha, you do a lot of work in the mental health field. Do you encounter a lot of this, or are you working on different things?
That I see a pattern, and that I'm not going to exclude myself with that is, and I did a lot of work on myself too. You know, the people pleasing, codependency, that's big. And then, you know, attracting narcissists in their life, that's huge. And it all goes back to the inner child. And, you know, at the very young age, I would say even at 7, before 7 year old, they're 7, how they received, how they were loved, you know, by their dads. It plays a big part. And if they have had any traumatic experiences, family dysfunctionalities, all of that plays a role in how you attract a person in your life, and you know what they perceive as love is kind of, it's a program that they operate out of, that is created at that very young age, that they are attracting that kind of people in their lives.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it doesn't even have to be big trauma. I mean, these things, the attachment style starts before age 7. But, you know, I had a great childhood, but I actually am a very anxious person. So in my relationship stuff, I had to develop more security within me.
It
and
comes down to the building blocks. Again, feeling secure and loved is a biggie. It's like you're building a foundation of the house. And then
yeah.
build a house over it. After that, you know, it's how sturdy and how you stand on it. So for example, you know, I was raised in a very dysfunctional family. Dad was an alcoholic and a narcissist. And I saw how my mom, you know, was kind of a victim and codependent, you know, all of that. I attracted a husband who was also a covert narcissist. Of course, you know, it took a long time to break that barrier and work on myself and turn things around. And then the worthiness piece that you mentioned is big. And self-love, if you don't love yourself, who else is going to love you? So, you know, it's huge. So loving yourself first, and not, you know, I can show you just turning my laptop, that's my vision board.
Oh, nice.
Awesome.
Yeah. And I put a lot of things on it that, you know, I want to, you know, I'm a queen, you know, just thinking that, hey, I need to be treated like a queen. You know, that it not a slave or not a victim, but I'm a queen. You know, just completely changing that perspective, that whole energy shift.
You strike me as a queen, Sujatha. So well done. The shift is complete. You know, I'd love to hear from John Mason on this topic of love, because he's got his own lovely wisdom, and he's a man. John, you want to chime in?
Wait a minute. How did you know that I was a man?
It's quite evident.
You know, when my wife passed away 6 years ago, and all of a sudden I was out in the dating world, of course, being a man, I thought I was ready for a relationship, like, you know, at least 20 years before I really was. So when I thought about what I wanted in a relationship, a friend of mine counseled me, well, you need to make a list. You need to make a list of all the good qualities that you find attractive, that you want in a relationship, and all the kind of deal breakers. And a couple of things came to mind that I was triggered by this conversation. First off, you're never going to find the perfect person that's going to fit all of your qualities. And when you're getting to know a man, I would suggest that whatever you see on the surface, you might want to look a little bit deeper and really see their heart is open and ready for the relationship that you want. You know, I will say that men don't communicate well and they stumble around a lot. Sometimes they want to monopolize a conversation, and it might be due to their insecurity and not their ego. But if it's their ego, maybe that's something you want to stay clear of. I think you have to get to know people at a deeper level. And for me, a sense of humor is absolutely imperative, because if you're with somebody who doesn't have a sense of humor, it wouldn't work for me as a person. So I will also say that when I thought about dating and I talked to a few people and I would mention things like, oh, my wife passed away, there were some women that say things like, oh, you talk about your wife a lot. And I immediately would have to write them out because it was uncomfortable for them to hear who I was and what I was struggling with. So if you hear something that you don't like, own it and say either this could be a deal breaker, or it could be something that I'm willing to kind of look at a little bit longer to see if it's, because it's a package deal. It comes with the person. So just being open and ready means that the timing is right, and not everybody that you're attracted to is going to be at that same timing place. So I'm figuring that in probably another 30 or 40 years, I'll really have my stuff resolved and I'll be ready to date again, which of course is a joke, but that's beside the point.
So John, can we make a pact here right now? In the event that neither one of us is married in 30 or 40 years, I'm yours and you're mine. Yeah, you're already that anyway, so FYI.
Totally sign me up for that, Liz.
Okay, cool. In the meantime, I've got your back, totally.
Good.
All right.
Thanks.
Now, Macy, tell us a little bit, just tell us about the different programs you offer that people can kind of enter into with you, because you're adorable and a half, and she's the friggin' real deal right here, folks. She is so 100% her. And if you see some of her videos, so share your website, your Facebook page, where we can see all those live things that you do all the time that are just, it's awesome. And all the pictures she shares with her kooky dogs, and oh my God. And she's like, she doesn't want to, I hate to use the word great marketer, and because she's not really a marketer. She's so authentic about her expression, is so you. It's genius what she does for herself. Anyway, and
thank you.
So tell us where
the website is theloveadvantage.com. And then there is a Facebook business page, which is, I think if you just search, I think it's Love Coach Macy at The Love Advantage is the business page. And I do like to do live videos on the business page. I do those regularly, just kind of based on what I notice, or I don't know, whatever's come up. I find that oftentimes, I'm sure many of you see this with your clients, that there ends up being like clumped themes every once in a while. Like a couple people are, I don't know, it comes in themes. So I like to share there. And I have the YouTube channel called Love Vibe TV. If you just search Love Vibe TV Macy, you'll get it. And yeah, if you subscribe to that, then you'll get a lot of different, well, there's just a zillion videos, and there's a bunch of stuff. Like I also include yoga and meditation, Kundalini yoga. So there's some Kundalini yoga videos there. And Church of Kitschy Love is in there. So that's kind of a newer thing that I've been doing just for recreational and amusement, because I don't know if amusement is on David Hawkins' chart, but I know amusement is a high vibe.
Of course. Anything that lightens the load is a high vibe.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
So that's there. And certainly if anyone would like to have a happy in love strategy session, on my homepage of my website, there's a link that says meet with me, or you can just email me at macy@theloveadvantage.com. And I'm happy to do that for people. And those are like the main places that I hang out.
What's going on with your love camp right now? Can you talk about that, or is that you're in the midst of that?
Yeah, I mean, we're in our third week, but it is something I'm going to offer again. I mean, mostly what I offer are one-on-one coaching programs, either 6 months or a year, because I spend a lot of time with people and really want every woman to feel secure in knowing that they have support to heal, grow and grow into a healthy, happy relationship. And there's a lot of ways that we do that. Cool. But Love Camp is something that I was very inspired to do this year because I wanted to offer uplifting support during this holiday season, because people who are single, I think, feel a lot of pain around being single in the holidays, but also it was open to any woman who was feeling like loss or sadness during this time of year, because although super high vibe season, there's still a lot of pressure. There's a lot of, I remember feeling a little left out because I was the only single one in my group of friends, and sometimes it felt weird, being the third wheel or whatever you call it. Fifth wheel. I don't know what the saying is.
Third wheel. Yeah.
So anyway, I've done daily practices, all like 5 minutes each, where people are part of this community, and it's really campy and fun, but it also has really profound exercises, meditations, practices that are supporting rediscovering worthiness.
Can people get in on that still, Macy, or not?
Not this round, but if you're interested in it, I am going to do it again because it's been a huge success, and lots of participation, lots of ahas, lots of tears.
Nice.
And lots of camp pranks. We had some campers put my Snoopy in my brassiere up the flagpole first week.
What?
Yeah. And then we had some campers. I have the photograph. I'll show you. The photograph I got blown up of some campers mooning boys camp. So, 2 of these booties confessed, but one is still a mystery. I don't know if it's all women in the same cabin, so they're assigned to cabins when they come to camp. And
oh my God, you really make it like a real camp?
It's camp. It's virtual camp, but it's camp. Then we have a craft shop, we have a meditation room, we have the waterfront. They went for self-love swim last week, which was actually EFT tapping on worthiness.
Oh.
And so that was 5 minutes of that. And then we did.
Do you do that inside of Zoom or something, Macy?
Well, I record everything so that they get it first thing in the morning for us. There's people all over the world doing Love Camp, but they get it daily at the same time every day, and it's a recording. And like today, they did this practice called 10 Steps to Peace, which our theme during this week is about allowing love and prosperity. And one of the things that gets in the way of that is when we have unsettling thoughts from the past. So the 10 Steps to Peace is a Kundalini yoga practice where within less than a minute, you can release something.
Nice.
It's beautiful.
All right. So we're going to wrap it up here. We have about 5 more minutes, but if anyone has any other questions. Macy, that is so genius, creative, what you're doing with Love Camp, that you've gone to the extent of putting people in different cabins and having all these experiences. That's huge. Oh my God.
It's fun because I get to sass people. I'm trying to bring a lot of humor into it to counteract the real stuff, because some of these worthiness exercises are really bringing up tears. They're naturally feeling some pain because of the holiday. And you know what? I want the tears to flow, but also the laughter to come up too.
Nice. I love that. All right, so anyone watching this video today, it's going to be posted on YouTube, on our website, themindbodyspiritnetwork.com, and we're going to share it everywhere too. We'll have links to contact Macy at her website, so you can just look below wherever you're watching this. There'll be information so you can connect with her. She is the real deal. And oh my God, if you should see her in action, some of the you're gonna see, you gotta go to her Facebook page, follow her there, watch her videos. Holy crow, she's amazing.
Thank you.
Thanks, Mace. All right, if we don't have any other questions, we're gonna stop the recording. Anyone have any final anythings here? No? Okay, I'm stopping the recording.